Hi, I'm Delisi.
And I'm Chef James Rigato.
And in episode 16 of Essential Cooking, we talk with Drew Patrick about launching the online grocery store, Michigan Fields, and connecting customers with Michigan-made, locally sourced food during the pandemic. James also talks about why you should start cooking with beef liver and why you shouldn't be afraid of it. So, Drew, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, Ann, and thanks for being a customer at Michigan Fields. Much appreciated.
I said to James, I find nothing better than walking out my door and there's a big box of food that I actually want that's sitting there and packaged beautifully and knowing all of it is sourced here in Michigan. So you and I talked, I think it was last June, when Michigan Fields was just launching. And you guys had it in the works for a while, but the pandemic sort of sent you into overdrive to get it going. Is that how, do I recall that correctly?
I'd say we had a desire to do something like Michigan Fields, but it certainly hadn't been started yet. We basically had a plan on the shelf. And then COVID hit, and we said, oh man, what are we going to do here? We've got the plan. The need is there. Let's get it going. So 2 weeks later, we were up and running and had a site. People could order, and we were delivering to homes within about 2 weeks.
So talk about the model for this. Everything is sourced in Michigan.
Correct. Yeah, all Michigan grown, produced, made products. And really what we're trying to do is connect our community through local food and encourage a healthier and more economically beneficial food system, because there's so many flaws within the food system that we have now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So one of the things was that the menu, or not the menu, but what you're offering has continued to change. It's expanded, I should say. Not like you've had these certain vendors that have been on there from the beginning, and now it's been expanding. So how has that been working with deciding who's going to be on there, sourcing everything so it's consistently available, because then people fall in love with things and then they can't get them anymore. So let's talk about some of your vendors and who's on there. So I know Zingerman's Bakehouse has a lot of stuff on there. Yeah,
we've had some great vendors that have been with us from day one, like Zingerman's and Guernsey Dairy, and known names in the Michigan food community who have, they were clients on the Skidmore side before, which was what made it easy to transition them over and become their client essentially with Michigan Fields. So those are great, but then we're trying to support local growers, small-scale growers, small-scale producers. So beyond the very established Zingerman's and Guernsey brands, we've got really talented local baker, Jen Tilton, Indulged by Jen, making fresh baked goods for us. We've got really small-scale farms that might not have the same outlets through major retail, but we're small. We can be nimble. We can go pick up. We can coordinate. And then I guess the biggest challenge for us really is that how do we project what we're going to have available, right? How do we know what our volume is going to be for orders, and then sourcing? And so, that's really it's fun, but it's the hard part of starting up a grocery store, having never run a grocery store before.
Now with super small vendors like that, are you looking at CSA models out there and being like, maybe this is viable? Is there a public that's willing to say, hey, give me a grab bag, I don't care? Like for me, I don't want to look at a grocery store and click items. I want to bring me some cool stuff.
Yeah, we're looking at both, but those CSA models are out there, right? And those have been established, and not that there shouldn't be more or couldn't be more, but what we really wanted to offer people was choice. And give you a custom shop. You can get exactly what you need and get it delivered and have it be local. And one of the reasons we want to do this was, your delivery options to date have been Amazon, and
pretty limited.
Kroger and Meijer, and those have their place and they're great, but they're really not tailored to a local food economy. And so we said, maybe we can do this differently and do it better. So
Drew, when you started, getting the word out about having an online grocery store it's like, this is something new. Talk about your client base, your customers from then until now, and what that has been like to grow that and how things are going for the business side of this.
We were very, I'd say, fortunate in that it was such a forgiving and open market that we launched in, right? So we launched in a pandemic, a grocery delivery service. Almost everybody is a potential customer.
Right.
So that was good. We were able to get some, word out, some media, earned media coverage, which was really helpful to get orders back in April and May, and got a customer base really quickly. And then since then, people wanted to go back to the grocery store and people wanted to get back to some semblance of normalcy like they could. So since then, we're growing a customer base just the way any startup does. So we do our marketing. We just did a promotion where we were giving away groceries for a year. So, we gave away to one winner, which winner hasn't been announced yet, but we'll announce that next week, a year's worth of free groceries from Michigan Fields.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so running a contest, we're doing some email marketing, social media, obviously. And it's just like it's running a business and finding customers and serving them well, right?
Right.
I mean, your marketing can get you a customer once, but it's up to the operational, success to bring them back again and again.
So let's talk about the meat part of this. So that one's a little tricky. That changes a lot, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, availability has been way up and down this year on the seafood side, on the beef and the poultry side. One thing that I'm excited about is we were able to source from really small scale cattle farm our own beef. So we have Michigan Fields branded beef available
great.
Now, and we'll be looking to source more going forward. So that's something where this is part of Michigan Fields' goal is to get as close to the farm as we can. So remove as many of the steps in the process so when we can get fresh product and we can drive the cost down to a point where local food can be more accessible to people who might otherwise not be able to access it.
That's pretty great. So how many farms are you working with now? And how many farms did you start with?
When we started, we were probably working with about 15 to 20 providers.
Oh, wow.
And that's through everything going direct to the farm. We were working with one distributor. We're really staying away from that now, working and buying at the wholesale market at Eastern Market. But now we're probably working with close to 100 different farms over the year.
Have you had to grow your staff?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we started,
you're employing people too.
The first time we talked to you, we were doing all of this with Skidmore employees.
Oh,
so part of the reaction to COVID was, "Ooh, we're in a B2B service business. I'm not sure we're going to have a whole lot to do over the next 2 months. So maybe we should launch Michigan Fields now and work on that." So it had really flexible and amazing staff with Skidmore who helped get it up and running, and then we've hired full-time staff at Michigan Fields since.
Black perspectives haven't always been centered in the telling of America's story. Now, we're taking center stage. Introducing NPR's Black Stories, Black Truths, a collection of Black-led stories from NPR's podcasts. Search NPR Black Stories, Black Truths wherever you get your podcasts.
when things get back to normal, do you think Michigan Fields will still have, there will people that have gotten so used to this that they're just going to continue to buy online from you?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a market out there that wants the convenience of it. Grocery delivery was projected to increase double-digit year-over-year growth over the next 10 years before COVID.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what we did, we just pulled some of that forward into the last 9 months, year, so that growth may slow down a little bit, but there's still a huge market for delivery. It's convenient. Hopefully we're getting fewer parties involved, so it becomes cost effective. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're excited to grow this business. We're excited to get more local food to more people in Southeast Michigan, help out more growers and producers. And like you're mentioning, new products pop up all the time. Now that we have staff working on this, I'm surprised by some of the stuff that's on there now, which is really awesome. Like, oh, I didn't know we were carrying that yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like vegan sausage. Oh, great.
Yeah, I looked on there. It's like, oh, that's pretty amazing. So one thing I saw on their website yesterday was beef liver. And that's why I need to talk to you about this, because
You're looking scared. You don't eat beef liver?
well, no, it's been a long time. So here's the thing. So I read about how incredibly nutritious it is. Like
it's great for
nutritional. You. Okay. And then all the stories about how people either are screwing it up or, so I need you to, so you sell it on your website.
Yeah, we're buying whole animals, so we're selling everything.
All the parts. Yeah,
all the parts. So you're doing so you need to tell the rest of us how to make beef liver in particular, to make it tastes really good. Is it supposed to go in the lemon juice and the milk and the thing? Okay, what do we do?
Right. So liver is always like one of those controversial, items because, it tastes like iron. You'll get that like, or the texture, if you overcook it, it gets a little grainy. So liver is perfectly fine to eat medium rare or medium, so I definitely recommend not overcooking liver. With beef liver, I like it sliced relatively, I'm going to say thin, but like, half inch, and then dusting it in some kind of flour and pan frying it and serving it like like the same way you would like a scallopini or something, make a sauce, like a Madeira or a Marsala, liver and onions is kind of that American classic, but like it's really, it's pan fried, something sweet, add a little bit of like, a fortified wine, little apples, little, bacon, a little bit of currants or something. But you can also grind it into your bolognese sauce. So if you're, it goes in, it can, even chili, if you add like, 3/4 beef, then 1/4 liver ground into your chili or even chopped up finely, no one's even going to notice. It's just going to be delicious. So it's rich. It's totally good for you. I also would recommend buying the liver and feeding some to your dogs too, because it's great for your pets as well. So definitely don't rule out. Beef heart is one of my favorite cuts of the entire animal. So don't rule out the organs. Just educate yourself on how to cook them. You're not gonna cook a fillet the same way you cook a burger. So like you got to learn how to kind of like adapt to that animal. But liver's testy for a lot of Michiganders. I totally understand. I mean, we face this, daily in the restaurant. We're never trying to do something, like that. But don't be afraid of it.
So are you supposed to put it, like, what do you do before? So there's all the things to say that, this will take out the iron taste.
I like the buttermilk personally. I like to do almost like a kind of a buttermilk and then a dredge, almost like you would like fried chicken.
So how long do you leave it in the buttermilk?
I mean, if it's sliced thin, you don't need it very long. I mean, I'd say like 10 minutes. But some people will brine it or soak it overnight. But I don't mind that, that like a little bit of iron. But beef liver is pretty tame. If you want to get like crazy, go eat a wild animal, like a venison liver. A bear liver, that's gonna taste like what is going on.
But that was next on my list.
Bear liver? Yeah, it should be. I feel like Doug Hewitt's eating bear liver. I feel like you could ask him about it. But wild animal livers are much more intense than a farmed animal. So don't be afraid.
All right. But you can put it in stuff.
You can brine it. You can soak it in buttermilk. You can it basically uses acid to kind of counter the iron flavor.
But you can like put it in the food processor and then throw it in your other stuff.
Absolutely. I would totally put it in your pasta sauce, your bolognese or your chili or any kind of ragu. Absolutely. A lot of recipes call for that in a traditional like bolognese.
People don't even know. Yeah. It's floating around in there.
It's delicious. I mean, you make it sound creepy when you say
that.
No,
I'm not.
It's floating around.
Liver's delicious. Don't be afraid of liver.
Okay, see, now I feel better about it. I just had to ask you because I saw it on your website and I thought, I better ask James about this because I should probably not be. So, I mean, the thing is my mother never made it.
Oh, sure. I mean, my mom didn't either, but, I think you just do a little bit of research, and also if you're really connecting with like local food and whole animals, and I'm not a fan of like buying parts and people being scared of bones, and like if you're gonna eat animals, you should respect the animal.
You can find out more about Michigan Fields by going to michiganfields.com. Our thanks to Drew for talking with us, to you for listening, and
we would like to thank La Marca Prosecco for their support. From the hills of Veneto, Italy, you can never go wrong with Prosecco, whether it's in a spritz or drinking straight.
Joan Isabella is our executive producer, along with producer David Lyons and assistant producer Lisa Brancato, editing by Rowan Nemisto. Production support provided by Studios on the Pond, original music by the Mallet Brothers. This is a production of Detroit Public Radio Station, WDET.